Good morning, Priyanka, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 certainly. You had shared your screen, I guess. Yeah.
So how many students
We are expecting around 100 and 100 plus students because the internship is also going on. So the students are preparing and coming. Saturday weekend is there. So they're coming soon. So I guess we can start because the students will be joining, and along with us we have Garima ma'am. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Okay. So Priyanka ma'am, Garima ma'am is a part of our innovation cell, the IIC Ministry of Education, and she's a HR as well as research. She's a Dean Associate for IIC, and she's guiding us complete throughout the journey of innovation, ARIA, and entrepreneurship. So, ma'am, should we start the session because
Yes,
students will
I
be
think we
joining?
should start. We should start. Delighted to have you here, Priyanka.
saying math?
Yes. And Priyanka ma'am is always helpful for innovation. I know because she's always ready to help us and guide our students because she is alumni of V School and
Yeah.
started her journey from V School only, IIC. So that's really appreciable and thank you, ma'am, once again joining here. So let's start the session. I will just
Sure.
introduce you and then we can just go ahead.
Sure.
Uh, so welcome everyone for the today's IIC session on journey of social entrepreneur. So let's begin with some people become entrepreneurs because they see it is mandatory journey to take. The prior experience in the job market or achievements in education makes them realize that working for others is no longer a life suited for them. Entrepreneurs are driven with a need to succeed and control their own destiny. Today's speaker, Priyanka Amma, must have experienced the same. Priyanka started her career as a business development manager in Dimensions Innovation Lab and also worked as an art and craft mentor in Asima NGO. With a passion to do something for her own, she had joined V School Business Design and started her own entrepreneurial venture named iKheti during her MBA academics only. iKheti is a social entrepreneurship with a vision to create platform for both individual and communities to grow healthy consumable crops within their premises and promote sustainable urban farming, which is a booming sector in the coming years. She had done a remarkable job and created iKheti, a renowned brand in Mumbai and other cities, which are mentioned in many news articles, blogs, and social media. So let's know more about a small idea how it came a successful enterprise, how she managed to start a entrepreneurship in campus life itself. Let's welcome our today's speaker and our very old V School alumni, Priyanka Amar Shah, V School IIC team, faculties, and dear students to our IIC session, Journey of Social Entrepreneur. Over to you, ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Father, for the introduction. Uh, as you rightly mentioned, when you talk about an entrepreneur, okay, so people have different ideas what an entrepreneur is, they have different definitions, okay. But for me, always, and entrepreneur, to make it in simple words, I had come across this quote somewhere, and I felt it very close to my heart, and I really connected to it. An entrepreneur is actually someone who chooses to work 80 hours a day to avoid working 40 hours a day. Sorry, a week. Uh, it was a very simple quote and it sounds very true because that's what an entrepreneur is. When you decide to give everything, leave everything, and give your time, energy, your finances, everything to an idea that you actually believe in, than working for someone else in an organization or for someone else, that's what exactly an entrepreneur is, who decides to work 80 hours a week to avoid it working 40 hours a week. But saying that, it may sound, on a lighter note, it may sound funny or, it may sound that if you have an idea, you would want to go all about it and work for it, and you would have the passion also for it. Definitely, that's true. But there are also a lot of struggles attached to it when you talk about becoming an entrepreneur, right? So let me begin with how the journey of IKT started, where it started, and the whole journey will come out. What is required to be an entrepreneur, what are the problems an entrepreneur faces, how can you keep your business going, and how social entrepreneurship is actually different from normal entrepreneurship, right? So ICT was started back in 2011 within NEET School. I'm a NEET School student, very happy to be an ex-student of NEET School. It was started over there as an idea. At that point of time, way back in 2011, definitely we did not have, entrepreneurs did not have a lot of platforms to share their ideas, to come up with ideas, to work with them. But at that point of time, we actually had come up with Magic at that point of time.
Priyanka, I'm afraid I need to button a little. Your voice is a little wobbled. So could you please fix it? It's not clear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it better now, ma'am?
Yes, much better. Thank you so much.
No, no worries. I think
Yeah.
the volume was a little on the lower side.
Right.
So we had come up with Magic back in 2011, where all the students at V School were given a platform. If they have an idea, VCs were called and they could present that idea over there. And that's exactly when IKT was formed. So it started as a college project, absolutely, and it came over a dinner discussion. So we always had as a family, as a nature-loving family and an animal lover family, we always used to grow few things like pudina or chilies, lemon at our place, right? And during the dinner discussion, we were just, me and my family members were discussing what could be the idea that I could put it to the VCs that were coming. It wasn't something, frankly, at that point of time, it was absolutely a college project. But definitely, since we had the opportunities of business industrialists and analysts coming at that point of time to present the idea, I also wanted to get the feedback as to if I have an idea which I would want to take it ahead in the near future, this would be the best platform for me to get the feedback at that point of time. Right? And so it was a dinner discussion, and suddenly the chilies were over on our plate. We loved eating spicy food. And I just went to the balcony and plucked two chilies and came back. And that's actually when the idea struck, since we are doing it at home, why can't we actually convince people to start growing edibles within their premises? I know it sounded very random and very abrupt, and it was like a snap of an idea. But imagine that small idea, which actually started over a dinner discussion, is going so strong for so many years. Today, I'm here in 2021. It's still going strong. We have taken it to the other cities, and I was able to convert that idea into a business, into a running business model. So what I did over there, me and I had two other friends, part of the project at that point of time. We presented it to the VC, and there were a lot of questions, especially since you were trying to pitch growing food within Mumbai city. When we talk about Mumbai city, no space, no time, no money. And we were actually convincing people who run day in and day out and who do not even have 5 minutes to actually breathe, to start growing their own food, to connect with nature and to start, gardening. It seemed very random and very difficult at that point of time. But when we presented it, we were actually appreciated by a lot of VCs over there, and but there were a lot of tweaks. That's when. So I would always suggest people, if you have any kind of idea, discuss it with people. You today, the entrepreneurs, the future entrepreneurs are given way more platform. At that point of time, we had this big event and we took a chance at it. But over here, you would have it weekly, you would have it quarterly, you would have it on annually. Please discuss your ideas with your mentors. It can be your in-house teachers, it can be your visiting faculty, it can be someone, if you're already doing your internship over there, the people working in the organization over here, do bump your ideas, do share your ideas, do not let it be with you. Though my idea sounded very crazy at that point of time, right? Just by discussing it with the VCs and the mentors that were available that day, I could tweak on my idea. It didn't become an entirely crazy, impossible idea to implement, right? So, like one of the points over there that was discussed, that if I keep on going to each individual, so the whole idea of IKP was for people to start growing their own food, right? And how is it a social enterprise? You would say, how does growing your own food really impact the environment, right? But you do not know, but your food travels about 80 to 100 kilometers before it reaches your food plate, right? And the amount of pesticides and the chemicals that we are using every day, our land is becoming barren. Whatever land is available in the rural areas, soon in the near future, because the population is growing day by day, we wouldn't have any space left for farming. So we actually wanted to get the farm to the cities. At that point of time, it was playing farm bill in rural. So one of the mentors actually suggested at that point of time, if you do it individually, if you keep on going to one person at a time, the kind of environmental impact that you would want to make, it's going to take years. It would take a lot of time to make the difference that you actually want to make in the environment. And that this makes sense. And plus all the other issues that people do not have the time, though people would have money, we took out the finances out, but people really don't have time in Mumbai city to, for them at that point of time, it would be a hobby, right? Nothing much, but a hobby. So how do you convince those people? Just because of the feedback that I got at that point of time, I decided that we would focus more on community farms, building up community farms rather than individual farms, right? So when we talk about community farms, we started approaching corporates, we started approaching societies, we started approaching schools, because what was happening out there was we could reach out to more people at one point of time rather than just reaching out to individuals, right? And the other point of it, when they said people do not have any point of, any time or energy to give this to it, we made IKP a one-stop shop for all the urban farmers. So when I talk about a one-stop shop, we gave them consultancy. We set up the farm for them, right? We also provided the maintenance services. So what we realized that even if people started gardening and if they were trying to grow something specially edible, it was quite difficult for them to maintain it, right? So we started providing Mali services as well to make it easier for them. So we are not talking about Mali services when they would go and water every day, because we still wanted people to have that connection, but the hand holding in the maintenance part of it, like they could go once a week, help them learn, help them propagate, help them to eat fresh, harvest the fresh food. So these were the few ideas that we got at that point of time, and I could actually work on it and make a difference. And when it came to individuals, though we did not want to keep them out away as well, we started preparing these do-it-yourself kits. So if you go to see, these were the problems that they came up with, and we tried working on this ideas, different ideas, using the different business design models that we had learned at that point of time. So for the individuals, we had these do-it-yourself kits where all the raw materials along with an instruction manual is in a box, in a side box, and it can be shipped to anywhere across India. So we made it easier for people to grow their own food within their home, right? So the first and the most foremost thing that you need to do is don't sit on your idea. A lot of people I have a lot of friends, and they would be like few years down the line, they would read about an idea in a newspaper, and they would be like, oh, I had the same idea, if I would have gone through it, I would be in the newspaper today, or I would be. It doesn't work that way, right? You need to take that plunge. If an idea is just an idea, it wouldn't go. It doesn't. It's meaningless unless and until you do not implement it. You do not take it to the next level. You unless and until you do not convert it into a business model, a running, workable business model, right? So do not sit on it. Discuss with your mentors, peers, as I mentioned. Take the feedback and then work on it again. Another point, very important, do your thorough research. Very important. So in 2011, when I had this idea, I did not start IKP until 2012 because a year went into it for research. An important part of that research at that point of time, which I learned in business design, was doing stakeholder analysis, which, when we learn all these models and we are like, are we ever going to use them? Is it necessary? But trust me, throughout the research, it did help me a lot, So when we do stakeholder analysis, what do I mean by that? We have the external stakeholders and internal stakeholders, At that point of time, you note down to each detail, who are the stakeholders who are going to be an important part of your business, And at that point of time, you won't believe, but I actually wrote even tempo drivers because it was gardening, right? A lot of plants are going to be transported from one place to another, at that point of time. And today, so I do have even tempo drivers getting me business, which might sound very far-fetched, but it's just because I went on to detailing to understand which are the stakeholders that I would be working with in the near future. I could understand, or I could also understand who could get me the business, and what kind of relationship you would have to maintain with all of them to, have that kind of relationship with them. So research becomes a very, very important part when you start with your idea. It also along with the feedback and the research, because if you get an idea whether you're ready to take the plunge or no, or whether you should go ahead with the idea. Another thing that you need to realize is when you're working with an idea, do not choose an idea which you think is hip and happening. What do I mean by that? What are the current trends? And so at that point of time, everyone was into making apps. I am not saying making app was a bad idea. A lot of people became successful making apps, but choose an idea that you are really passionate about. So I'm really passionate about animals. I have about 6 animals at my place. I'm really passionate about nature. That's how I've grown up. If I had to work for something that I really don't like, I would have taken a job. Why would you want to start your own business, right? You would want to start your own business because you are really passionate about this some idea and you want to work on it. And like I mentioned, you would want to give 80 hours a week to it, right? So if you're not passionate about it and if you think it's not going to work, don't get into it. Rather, pick up a job, you rather do that. But if you're working on something, imagine you would have to work even on weekends. You would have to miss a lot of social engagement, social gatherings. Your friends would have holidays, the Diwali and birthdays, but you might not be able to do that as an entrepreneur. For that, it is very important to be passionate about what you're choosing, and that's exactly what I did. Today, all these years, even after having a family, after having a kid, I went back to work, like to my business, within 2 months of my delivery. That's because I knew I was missing it. That is another baby of mine. You need to love it. So don't choose something that because you think that it might work. It might get you profits. Definitely, profits is a very important part of it as well. You need the money to make your business running, but choose an idea that you think you can work like even 20 years or 30 years down the line and take a plunge. Don't sit on the idea. It might be that it might work or it might not work. I am not saying that. A lot of people for it after a few years down the line, the ideas do not work. But that's okay because you at least tried it out, right? Otherwise, you're always going to be thinking, like I said in the newspaper, oh, I wish if I had taken it, I might have been successful. I would have been there. How do you get your answers to that? If unless and until you do not try, you're not going to get the answers to those questions, right? So take the plunge. Go ahead, take the plunge, do your research work, select an idea that you are passionate about, discuss it with your mentors, discuss it with your teachers, take the feedback from it, tweak it, and then enter the market. Then you take the plunge and enter the market. So what happens when you enter the market? So this is all what I did when it came to actually coming with an idea, right? But the main question, the idea is there now, I need to go to the market. How do I take that, right? Never do it for your friends or family. This is my personal advice. You do not have to take it. These are all the things that have worked for me, and that's exactly why I'm sharing it for you. The reason being is what I have realized is when you do it for your family and friends, first of all, they'll never give you a proper feedback about your service, about your product, whether it's good or bad. Maybe they know you've been trying it quite a lot, or they know you're very excited to have it launched, right? They're not going to give you a proper feedback, right? And whenever you're launching your product, you need a critical feedback or the correct feedback, right? This will only happen when you gather your customers, right? When you do it to people that are unknown, right? They will help you. You're going to feel happy also about it. Oh, maybe it's just so good. Everyone's liking it, but that's not the correct population that your product should be targeted to, or your service should be targeted to, as a matter of fact, right? So always try to get your first customer as an outsider, the first few of them, because that's how you will know where you're lacking and where can you work on your products or services or your skills that you would have to offer to the people. And sometimes your friends and family, like, they wouldn't even pay, right? And if you put in, like, for me, I was, as you mentioned, I was in the IT industry, and so whatever money that I had saved over the years, I decided to put that in the business, right? The reason why I did that, because first of all, when you borrow money, when you borrow money from your family members or for your friends, you do not tend to take the business very seriously. I might not be wrong as well, but that's what I have. I decided I'm going to put in the money because I know that I'm going to work, way more hard than if it's borrowed from someone else. Right? That was my approach. So I decided to invest my money because I know for me it's a matter of make or break situation. Either this works and I'm out of money and I go for a new job, or so your craziness, or for you to make that idea work actually increases when you put in your own money. So try not to borrow your money. A lot of people will also have a question: should we, approach, like, the VCs were there available at that point of time? So I thought maybe you could take the funding later on, but always try to make it with whatever you have. I married a Marwadi, okay, and now over the period of time when the business became successful, a lot of I had a lot of VCs approaching me. So that's another question a lot of entrepreneurs have, so future entrepreneurs, that what should we do? Should we go out and borrow money? Does that make sense? Or you keep on rotating the money back? What Like I said, I married a Marwadi, and you know what? They have a kahawat in Hindi. कभी भी जब तक पैसे का जरूरत नहीं होता है, आपको किसी से उधार नहीं लेना चाहिए. It might be a simple thing. It might not be true also for all the businesses. For me, a business was such that I could work on the money that I had. But if the business involves a lot of technology, a lot of machinery, then obviously you need that kind of money. So it also depends upon what kind of sector that you are getting into. If it requires a lot of funding, then you might as well go ahead and borrow it from someone. But if you think you can manage it on your own, always choose to work with your money. Also, the other reason being, when your business becomes successful over a period of time, you have a better chance at negotiation, at the stakes that you're deciding for your company, So whoever your funder is going to be, you have a better chances at negotiating. You also have the power of negotiation. At the initial stages, usually you do not have that because it's a startup, it's an idea, and they would help you with a lot of things. No doubt, they do help you go out, helping you with a lot of things. But if you have reached halfway through, you have proven that your business is successful and it has way more capabilities to do more much in the market. Your power of negotiation increases. So that's what I would suggest you guys to do it, at that point of time. Why did I choose social entrepreneurship? If how Sagar rightly mentioned, I was in the IT industry earlier, and then after a point of time when I had that break because I decided to do my MBA, I worked with an NGO. At that point of time, I realized that it's something that I would want to give back to the society as well. And I chose environment as a sector to give back to the society because, like I said, that's something that has been very close to me throughout the years. I've been fostering animals, I've been taking care of animals, and I've always, grown up with natures and gone on treks. So that's something that always made me happy, and that's the reason. So, I could balance more. It is a for-profit social organization. It is not an NGO. There is a difference between a for-profit social enterprise and an NGO. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're doing something for the nature," and so why isn't it NGO? You have those kind of questions. Trust me, over over the period of when you start your business, you know uh, the path that you have chosen, a lot of people are going to question it. You will have a lot of people questioning you again and again. Um, there are a lot of people who are going to motivate you to. I'll come back to that later, right? But they are going to question you again and again. Don't worry. Don't worry about it at all. Till the time you are true to yourself, you're trying to make that difference. You know the impact that you're going to make in the near future. Just give them answers. Fair enough. I also have a family to feed. I just didn't want to make money. I wanted to do something for the society and make money. It's not a bad thing. It's nothing wrong that I'm doing. It's nothing illegal I'm doing. you know so don't get bothered by these questions, when people try to raise fingers or ask. It's all right. People are inquisitive. Human beings in as such are inquisitive. They would want answers, right? And just give them answers. So this is the path I choose, and it's fine with it because trust me, there's nothing right or wrong. The students who are opting for placements today, it's not wrong, and the people who are opting for entrepreneurship today, it's not wrong. It's the path that you've chosen. You just have to be sure about the path that you have chosen. That's about it. So a lot of students, have this. For me also, so the placements come into picture. How do you know, that the idea that you're working on, you should go ahead, take the risk, and set up a business idea and work on that idea, or you should sit for placement. You know that money is coming in every month. Yearly there is some money in your bank account. To get that answer, first of all, you need to really know how much do you believe in your idea, okay? And the second thing, practically, that you can do is work for a startup. Okay? A startup or a life of an entrepreneur is not easy. Trust me, it is very difficult, and especially when times are so. I'm not saying even a lot of people have lost their jobs, but as an entrepreneur, it actually leaves you demotivated at times like these, because the money is not coming in. You don't know when the things are going to actually start. There's so much uncertainty. You sometimes feel like giving up. The best solution to that is work for a startup before. Two things will happen over there when you start. When you work for a startup. First is you will know whether you are ready to put in that much of hours. You will see how life is, how difficult it is. You wouldn't have maybe a fancy office. You wouldn't have all these friends around you. Trust me, the life of an entrepreneur is very lonely. It is, trust me, it is very lonely. I'm not trying to scare you. You do meet your friends, but you know how the office environment is. It's exactly not like that unless until you have a big office and you have 100 people working for you. My kind of business does not allow me to do that, right? So you will realize whether you are really up for having your own startup, and working for it and trying to give in that many hours, that much time, through your initial years. These are your prime years, right? It's important to take that decision. So you would know that if you're doing an internship, I would suggest you to do it for a startup rather than anything else. Another thing that you're also going to learn the tricks of the trade. So when Sagar mentioned about me working for an IT company, Dimensions Innovation Lab, it was actually a startup company which was into ERP, setting up of ERP solutions for education institutes, right? I learned all the tricks of the trade at that point of time, right? So because I was handling finance, I was handling marketing. I actually went on implementation with my implementation team. I was actually a business development manager, but I actually did collection also. So my role involved everything. If someone was not available, it was like, you have to do this as well. You have to do that because obviously they work on constraint, and you have to. So you learn the tricks of the trade. It's not just handling a particular specialization, and that's where actually BD also helped me quite a lot. So it was a very smooth transition for me because I worked in a startup, and I, like, people wouldn't believe, but BD at back then in that 2010, I'm from back to batch 2010 to 2012. BD was my first choice. I didn't choose any of the courses because it gave a wholesome picture of how an organization works. It does not really focus on a specialization that's marketing or finance, or HR. It actually gives you a wholesome picture how an organization works, which was very important for me because after the IT industry, I was like, I know I want to start something of my own, and this makes more sense. This program makes more sense. It looked like actually at that point of time that it's designed for me, and today when I go back to it, it was actually designed for me because I couldn't have taken the plunge, the kind of opportunities that I got at that point of time, like I mentioned, the D Magics, to present it in front of the VP, to take my idea forward. I was also given the platform at Wellington to present my business model. It was a working business model to then President of India, Srimati Pratibha Patil, which was a big deal. So you don't get these kind of opportunities when you are starting up with your business. But I was lucky enough to get that. And over a period of time, the students today have way more opportunities because back then not a lot of people thought about business. But today, what I see, over a decade, the students are more, of a risk taker. They are more creative. Trust me, with the ideas, the kind of ideas, that they are sharing, and they are bumping into each other. They are way more creative in nature. They are way more, they have that risk-taking capabilities in them, and also the kind of platform and the environment that is given to them today. So creating a prototype is given importance. So that was another important focus that was given to us during business design. If you have an idea, create a prototype, and you would be like, really, is it important? But trust me, it's just because I created the prototype, I got the opportunity to present it to the then President of India because the prototype was ready. I could actually, I had put it into a physical format, what I envisioned in the near future. So all these things, all these modules, they actually help you quite a lot when you are starting with your own business. So these might not seem very important right now, but yes, they are. So as I was mentioning about the opportunities that you have, also there are a lot of startups that you can work with today. So that at that point of time, even there weren't so many startups. So if you want to do an internship, you have way more variety, to work with. So the opportunities that are actually given today, I would personally feel they are way more. So go ahead, take the risk. It's the right time. If you think, you like I said, the internship is the right time. But after that, also give it a year or two. Rather than being stuck in a job which you would feel that you are going to be unhappy about, throughout year. What happens is when you're young, so you have the risk-taking capability more. And then when you grow up with age, right, you have a family to look into. You have your then you have kids, and then you are just so stable in your job. You're like, no, I can't do this right now. It's just like everything would get disrupted for me. I would be disrupting my family life. What if there's no money tomorrow coming out of the business? Oh yeah, that's one of my pets you see out there. Yeah, that's the mark. Sorry. Everything gets disrupted. So you get so comfortable. You get into your cocoon and you get so comfortable that you do not want to give it a try any longer. But when you're starting up, trust me, when you're starting up, to do it, and then if it's not working out after a year or two, it's okay. You can then take up a job. But do give your idea like that chance. It's very important. Trust me, it's like, sorry, I don't know if I should be saying this, but it's just like taking a chance at love, because even business is your love, is your passion, right? So it's about taking a chance, it's taking that plunge. Do it, because after a point of time, trust me, you won't be able to do it. Your salary will keep on increasing. Even if you want to put in your papers, your boss, if you have a very good boss, it will make you stay. They'll be like, no, okay, we are giving you these perks and we'll do an appraisal. And you will always find some or the other reason to stay back. And it will always be in your heart that why didn't I ever try? So you don't want to live with that. Trust me, it's very bad, because I still have a lot of friends. We meet up, during the weekends, and then they would still discuss ideas every weekend. Okay, and they've been doing that like for past 6 years now. They are most of them very good jobs, bankers, CAs, all of them, and they would be like, no, let's start a business. But it's just that when they on a Monday, when they go back to the job, the business idea is all forgotten about. And it's true, and it's nothing wrong, but it's just that risk-taking capabilities reduces with over the period. That's what personally. No judging about that, because there were a lot of business entrepreneurs who actually started their business in the 40s and the 50s. But you can do it right now. Also fail, do a job, and then start your business again. So take as many tries as possible. Go ahead, do as many experiments as possible. It is very important to do that. Do we have any questions over here? Sorry, did I miss that? How can one join to the company in order to come? Oh, okay. So sure, we have a lot of openings. Okay, if anyone would want to do an internship with us or also work with us, you can definitely write to us. IKP is the name of an organization. Plus, apart from that, right? Even if you Google, environmental organizations, there are a lot of organizations these days, who would want to actually, trust me, I am very happy about it, that a lot of youth also would want to do something for the environment. Coming to that, since you raised that question, I am going to take a very important aspect of entrepreneurship. Having a team, it's very important. Having a proper team into when you start, your own organization or your own enterprise, having the correct team who are in sync with your values, okay, who are in sync with the kind of mission and vision that you have is very, very important. Trust me on that. So when I started, like I said, it was very lonely for me. Though you would have heard about IKP quite a lot. It's not an easy job. I still work in the rain, even when it's humid, especially how the mountains of Bombay climate is. It's chip, right? It's hot. You have to be there. My backbone, my team members are my gardeners. So I wouldn't have a lot of youth, working with me to talk about, But I'm very happy working with them. Trust me, because I have learned way more about life from them than I think I could have learned from any one of them. Trust me, So because I love animals, after a point of time, my gardeners started getting rescued animals to the nursery. So sometimes we would have a kite, sometimes we would have a cat, like all kinds of animals. They would see a snake. So we had sometimes snakes coming in. We would catch it and then we would release it. it's because we share the same kind of values. We share the same that we need to protect the environment and the ecosystem around it. So the environment is not just nature. There is a whole ecosystem that comes along with it. Your microorganisms, your bees, your butterflies, going organic. So they are about so creating the right kind of team. And it's very important to communicate the values that your company has with the team. Trust me, it's very important. Otherwise, after a point of time, it might be, your organization can actually break, your enterprise can actually break because the values do not align together, or you do not have the same mission or vision. So anyone who comes into your company, it's very important for you to communicate that for them so that they are able to follow it through the years. So the team formation becomes very important, and you can have your friends working with you because since the another advantage that you have when you are at in your when you're doing your MBA, when you're actually in the school is that you can actually form a group of friends and start up your own business ideas. So whatever losses or whatever it's balanced out or it's divided, right? Your risks are divided, so it makes more sense. Plus, during college, you realize who are you more compatible with. If you've done projects together, you realize that you can actually, you have a better chances in having a proper team. And that the team is going to work for you when you are in college. Then when you go into the outside and try to look for them, because that's always a risk. You don't know who's coming into your organization, whether it would work for you, whether they believe in the same thing or no. So that's another advantage, when you start in college. Trust me, I, I think that was the best decision that I have ever made. Plus the other advantages that you get. I've always, Wellington has had always my back. So when it came to the PR part of it, talking about the future students, also to the alumni about the kind of work that I am doing. They actually, so you would have, sorry, I don't know if you guys had foundation. No, I don't think, because we used to have foundation fortnight. It would have been online for you, where we would have speakers. And during the fortnight, every day and speaking to us, and it would be a physical thing. They actually promoted the green gifts that IKT has, So the green gifts of IKT were given to, because Wellington also believes in, working for the environment, going green, making an impact on the environment. So they had an alumni whose values and ideas actually aligned with them, and they actually went ahead, and at that point of time, instead of bouquets, so these were these DIY kits that I spoke about. People could actually grow their own edibles at home. So when you're in your, when you start something in your college, you always know, apart from all the people that you have, your friends and your family members, you would also have your teachers and your mentors back in your college who are going to be there to support you and to promote you, to talk about your ideas. So I had a lot of professors. So till today, I do get called as a visiting faculty, at Wellington, and I'm always more than happy to share my journey with them. But apart from that, it is also about promoting the kind of work that I am doing. So you automatically get an access to so many of your, again, stakeholders, right? Who are going to be promoting you, cheering for you, and who are going to be doing your PR. So that's another advantage. I am not saying that if you go out of college, you're not going to be doing anything of that sort. That's definitely not true. But when it's going out there, when it's happening, it definitely makes a lot of difference. It just definitely makes a lot of difference. So these would be all the good points. There are a lot of uh, difficulties also when you talk about being an entrepreneur. For me, I would say you need to understand what was the most difficult part. Like I said, for me it was very difficult to get the right kind of team members. Especially at that point of time, not a lot of youth would want to get their hands dirty. Like, I'm on field, getting my hands dirty, working with Mali, it's in the mud. I can't sit on my Facebook and social media and Instagram. I don't have an AC office. I have none of that. Trust me. My but I love my space. It's a nursery. If it rains, Sometimes I might get wet also. We do have the green cover and something, but like the storm that we had recently, it just broke everything, So it's that difficult. So sometimes the kind of path that you choose, you need to know what you're getting into. Also, mine was a very unorganized market. If you see, there were a lot of nurseries which were local, वो किराने पे रहती है छोटे से they would keep about few 50-100 plants, and then they would have these gardeners selling it. So mine was totally an unorganized market, which I was trying to organize it, have a more professional approach to it. Like I said, it was a one-stop garden, one-stop shop for all the urban gardeners out there. So it was a professionally managed, it's a more professionally managed organization than the local nurseries out there. And so doing that, especially when it's a totally unorganized market, you do not have any contact of your vendors, your backend people, your logistics, because there's no one who's out there doing it, right? So how do you actually go back and approach it? Research again, research. So for me, it was with vendors I had a difficulty, but talking to a lot of customers and exhibiting, I conducted a lot of exhibitions where I could speak to a lot of my future potential customers, at that point of time. So research again, going back, becomes very important. I'll take another question over here. I see. Okay. Answer live. So I think I have already answered that. I am so sorry. I didn't know that I had to press answer live to answer it. How can one, I would still take it up again. How can one join a company to contribute to the environmental goal? You can join our company. We will be more than happy to have you, right? We would definitely would want more youth to be joining us and work for the environment. Plus, you can also Google. There are a lot of environmental organizations that have actually started up within India, that you can join with. A lot of startups. There are a lot of NGOs as well. So, what kind of preference you would have, you can definitely take it up. But if you would be interested in an internship or working with us, we would be more than happy to have you on board. Any more questions? Anyone would want to type it right now? So, I would want it to be more interactive. If anyone has a question.
Priyanka ma'am, just want to ask one more question. How was your experience when you shared or showed your prototype to President of India, Pratibha Patil, and how it was the experience as well as how the opportunity came to you? Because as a student, D-Magics was the one of the platform, but so apart from the 700 students, you are the one who's shortlisted for showcasing your model. So can you just throw some light so the students can also get some motivation, like these are the opportunities they can come to you when not right now, but in the due course of time, that can be really helpful. And Wellinger is always known for this kind of high profile visitors and delegates for coming in the Wellinger campus. So please share your thoughts.
Oh, definitely. So that's another
Dr. Vaishali, this side, just Sagar mentioned now, it is very much important to get this kind of, getting a precedent, and you presented your idea in front of the president. So let us share that incidents and how confident you were about your idea. So that was not in execution, and definitely we supported you for all these things. So how you will just capsule it?
Sure, definitely. So that's another advantage that you have, when you are, you're a student of Welling. So you could always have, delegates coming in. You would have a high-profile business industries coming in. At that point of time, we actually had the President of India, coming in, Srimati Pratibha Patil, and that was huge. It was definitely huge. And as Sagar, as you rightly mentioned, I was quite shocked, happy, nervous, surprised, all at that point of time, because I was actually one of the very few students who was selected to present the model to the president back then. So what really helped was I was very sure of taking the idea ahead. And at that point of time, they were selecting students who were sure. They didn't want to show someone that, oh, it's just a just for the sake of it, yeah, the student will take it ahead, kind of a thing. they knew I was serious in taking my business idea ahead, and they wanted students who were sure about it. They wanted to show the prototype of those students, right? And also because my prototype was ready, um, like you had to showcase it to the press. You need to have something, right? It was just not an idea. So I went on to the second stage of actually converting a prototype, of giving it. So at that point of time, I had actually created a vertical hydroponic system, with recycled plastic bottles, and there were vegetables growing in it, and at that point of time, because again, the issue, space was an issue. If you're doing something in Mumbai, how do people really have the space to grow food, right? So I had made a vertical model where we decided that we can grow food vertically rather than horizontally, right? And we had actually used plastic bottles to grow it, And a hydroponic, what does hydroponic mean? Is growing food in water. So it was a soilless solution that we had shown it to the president back then. So prototyping becomes very important, and the experience. Trust me, even if I had a little bit of doubt that I don't want to take this business idea ahead, like all of it went away. And like, it was like, oh, now I have shown it to the president of India. Now it's in the newspaper. So after that, it was in the newspaper also. And luckily, at that point of time as well, it was my idea that was showcased in the newspaper. So of all the ideas, it was my idea. I was like, I can't take this back. I have to make it work, It's like shown everywhere. Sometimes that works, because you have showcased it everywhere, you would want to work on it rather than giving up on it. You're like, oh, now the whole world has seen it. Now the whole world knows that you're going to, take this idea. You better make it work. And that's exactly how it was for me, I was like, I have to make this work. Everyone just knows it, though I was confident enough to take it further, but even that an inch of idea of ever giving it up, that never came. So another thing that actually helped me, so at that point of time, again, going back to D-Magic, there was another VC who was present over there who told me about the business reality show called The Pitch, So it used to come on UTV Bloomberg, and all you students right now, you have the same opportunity because Shark Tank India is coming up, right? So if you have an idea, go and pitch it out there. It is a very good opportunity because that's exactly what I did. So it was a business reality show where if an entrepreneur has a business idea, you can take it, you can go pitch it over there, and you were given a funding of 5 crores. But the whole idea over there was, it was like a dance reality show because every stage you get eliminated, So more than 5,000 participants had actually, there was a written application. So written application was, in fact, I think more than that. But after that, there were about 4,000 to 5,000 participants that were selected. You had to give an elevator speech to the VC. What is an elevator speech? So basically, you have to explain your business idea within 30 seconds. So the whole idea why it's called an elevator speech is, so if you meet a big personality in an elevator, you should be able to sell your idea within that time period. From whatever ground floor to whatever floor that you're reaching, you should be able to sell your idea. That's why it's known as an elevator pitch. So after that, I was selected as the top 3 finalist. And I was on TV for more than a month. That's another, the college was kind enough to give me that kind of a break to actually give, to promote my business idea over there, that I could work with the college as well and I could be on TV as well, So that's the kind of support that I actually received from Wellington at that point of time, So it was a great opportunity. And imagine you're on TV. I got the chance to meet Mr. Ronnie Screwwala. I got the chance to meet the Bijli brothers. I got a chance to meet Mr. Rahul Bajaj, like all the big industrialists. So when I was talking about 10 finalists, 10 episodes, every time, like we had 10 big business industrialists who would come and meet us. And every time I would discuss my ideas with them. So it didn't matter how big they were, always discuss your ideas. The feedback is very important, and the trust in your idea increases. So every time that I spoke to them, and because they, they are someone who have a foresight. All these big industrialists, they have a foresight for it. And they all said, don't give up on this business idea. It's great, keep it going. Don't give up on it. So that actually helped me at that point of time. So all you students out there, Shark Tank India is also coming up. There and in fact there are a lot of actually entrepreneurial competitions that keep on happening. Do not hesitate to participate in it. It's not. I was the top three finalists over there. I did not win, but reaching to the top three, getting that kind of experience, no one can beat that. It's you can't compare it to anything. Plus getting the feedback on your business ideas. So apart from your college, if you, like I said, always have your mentors, talk to business interests so that you can work on these ideas. So being on TV, then meeting the president of India, and being an also, yes. So you can say that for me, the PR became very easy. Trust me on that. The kind of confidence that I need to have in my business. Also, the PR marketing is very important, right? But also another thing, you always remember that the PR, how quickly you get it, it vanishes also that quickly, right? So you need to continuously keep on innovating, keep on coming up with new things, so that you are. So if I would have taken a break, at that point of time, I got all the ideas. And if I had not worked on my business idea, and if I had taken a break of a year or two and then got back, anyone would have forgotten. Forget 2 years. Now it's a matter of like 6 months, 5 months. The period is becoming shorter and shorter. The memory of people are becoming shorter and shorter. With so much of happening in the market out there, with so many new products and services, no one's going to remember you. So you need to continuously keep on working. So till today, I work with my mentors back from America. I go back to the professors. How can you continuously keep on innovating and working on your product? At least we were taught, that you need to unlearn and relearn again. And that's exactly what you need to do with your business idea as well. Because if you want to keep up with the challenging market, whatever ideas I had about 10 years ago, some of them I have to let go. I have to learn new one and then implement it back again, right? So you need to, it's not personal, for you as well, it works for your business idea as well. So you have to continuously, after that, just about a couple of years ago, I was also invited as one of the international visitor for an international visitors leadership program, by the US consulate. At that point of time, it's a 1 month totally funded entrepreneurial program by the US consulate for the future leaders, right? Again, it was something, presidents of India have attended that kind of program. But you need to continuously keep on innovating on that. That's over there, why I actually bought this stuff is because that's one thing that I learned over there. That there was, they say we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are coming from abroad and there are not many entrepreneurs that come up in India, That's because if you lose a year or if you have a gap in your work experience and you take up a business, that's promoted, that's motivated. And it's exactly what Wellington did for me as well. Like I said, I had that 1 month gap, when I was on TV. It was promoted, the entrepreneurial spirit was promoted. It is not just about the bookish knowledge, but if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, the gap will be promoted, and you would be in fact given all the kind of help that you need. We had an excellent small, it was like a kind of a cocoon, we BD students, we used to be really proud of called the InnoV, the InnoV lab, where we used to actually sit together after hours, bounce our ideas, work on them. So you would have all of these over there. Even if you want to do something, you would want to go out, you'll be granted that leave if you have that entrepreneurial spirit in you, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You also have the physical amenities, trust me, over here, which is not possible in a lot of places, For prototyping, if you need, you have the physical amenities over there. You have the InnoV lab, you can go and sit over there. You have all the business idea models to work on. You have a lot of professors, who are excellent when it comes to business design and working on entrepreneurial models. please take the benefit of all of these. Do not keep it to yourself. You are lucky enough to be in a college where if it works, it's fine. When if it fails, it's fine. But you are given a platform to actually try on them. Like I mentioned, do not stop trying. If you have a business idea, I would say go ahead, because all of that is being offered to you. If you still, and if you still are one of those students, then, after the point of few years down the line, you read in a newspaper and you say, oh, that was my business idea. That's your fault, because all the opportunities are being provided to you and you're still not opting for it. You're not the hand holding, the environment, to grow and to work on it. Then definitely that's your fault, or then you don't want to work on the idea. That's what I would want to say.
Priyanka, just I want to add something to your pitch. At that time, President of India came to his school, but for last 4 years, Ministry of Education, they had come up with Institute Innovation Cell, where almost 3,000 schools have this particular cell, and they have a competition of the ideas.
Right.
And they are asking for the prototypes. You will not believe top 50 prototypes are displayed and presented at the President's Bhavan at New Delhi. And
that's amazing.
Even our last year, our two ideas got shortlisted in a semi-final. But still, we are very much positive, as at IIC level we are giving them the session on the entrepreneurship and how to get the funding, how to groom the ideas, design thinking, all that stuff. So anyhow, still our students have the exposure to the President of India. Only thing is they need to participate and reach to that level and expose themselves.
No, I'm sure, ma'am, they would. Like I said, the students today are more of a risk taker. They are way more creative. They are ready to work on something new, So at that point of time, it was just about placement. I don't see that, that is that important. I'm not saying it still isn't, but trust me, I have seen, a drastic change in the new students today, that it's amazing. And it's amazing to know that we have about 50 of our prototypes over there. Work on your prototype. Trust me, it's very, very important for you also to know whether it works or not. You need to have a prototype. It just can't be an idea, even when it comes to giving yourself a form, there is a personality to your type. You would work on that kind of dressing, and that's how you would want to present. A prototype is exactly that, you are giving actually a personality to your idea. Maybe you have the kind of personality image in your mind, but people do not know that, right? Till the time you do not present it. So you need to have a prototype to showcase it, the kind of, to give the idea of the personality that you have for your idea, for people to know about it as well.
And even there are so many hackathons that come up. They can come up with ideas, and they get exposed to all the ministries. The social challenges, right from the BMC to the higher ministries. They are just populating it into the hackathons, and if somebody is coming with the idea, they just pick up the idea, and even they are nationally known, getting prizes in the lakhs, and they're just adopting them as a incubate. So that is the one opportunity. Again, the students, if they participate in a social kind of problem statement, they can get the chance.
Try to participate, as ma'am rightly mentioned, try to participate in as many competitions as possible. Imagine at that point of time, I was just told about the business reality show, the pitch. I could have been like, it's a long shot. It might just not work. There's so many people. Don't even doubt yourself for a minute. There is no harm in pitching your idea, putting it on paper, taking the first step, then going ahead, the elevator pitch, having a prototype. There is no harm. So try going to as many competitions as possible. Try going for as many hackathons as possible. It's very important. Even if you Google today, you might get a list. Trust me, it's become that easier. It wasn't that easy for us. If you are getting all these opportunities at Wellington, go for it. Do not just have a laid back attitude. Once you become an entrepreneur, trust me, you can never have a laid back attitude at all. So try to have a proper pitch. First of all, a proper pitch, as I mentioned, so that it's easier for you to sell your ideas, and try to participate in as many competitions as possible.
See, because you are a student and even you also want to go for a good, fat salary job and high.
Yes. Oh,
how to just convince ourselves as a student, or let me at least give one try for my idea, and how you did it, and what is your advice to the students? What is your
like I mentioned, Matt. First of all, do not sit on your idea. Discuss it with your mentors and your professors to get your feedback. Give a personality to your idea. Create a prototype. Okay. Second thing, try working in a startup organization, because then you know whether you are the entrepreneurial material or no, which is nothing wrong, right? But you have an idea already, whether you would want such kind of life or no, right? So these are, again, give a lot of time, time to research, before pitching your idea to the market. And the right time is now, when you're a student. Once you grow up, trust me, it becomes, once you sitting for the place. What I did was, ma'am, I did not sit for any of the places. My name was not in the list. So two things that I did. I put in my own money, like all my money into it. And the second thing, that I did not sit for my placement. I was like, this is the only option I have. It's like a do or die situation for me. This is what I am choosing. And if I am choosing this, I give everything to it, right? So I did not, because what happens is sometimes when you put your name for the placement, your name comes in, you automatically leave the idea, because maybe the package is better, or your friends have gotten the job. There are a lot of other things, So you feel like taking up the job offer, and then you put your idea on a back seat. You'll be like, we'll see it after a year or two, we'll get back to it again. That's never going to happen. Instead, work on your idea. You can always opt for a job later. Trust me, it's more easier to opt for a job later than working on your idea later. So work the other way around.
Yeah. Thank you, Priyanka. And we tried your seed bomb in one of the FF, if you remember, in 2017.
Yes.
See, we had given it to the panelists or the speakers, and we are still proud of saying this is what is from our student entrepreneur, and that is what
I've been more proud, being a student of Wellington, actually, frankly. So
yeah. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you so much.
I just need to say, Sagar, would it be possible for you just to take a screenshot?
Yes, we will do it the needful and share with you. No problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone. And Sagar, if any of the students, any point of time, if they are facing any difficulty and they would want to approach me, I'll be more than happy to guide them in any of their journeys.
Sure. I will give them contact details. Wherever possible, I can get in touch with you and we can close the loop. The students will be happy to work and do the internship also. Yeah.
Right.
Any formal vote of thanks?
Pardon me, ma'am?
Formal vote of thanks, being Priyanka ma'am is our own alumni, so I'll just brief out the points like she mentioned, like IIC, how she has taken the college project from D-Magics and turned into business opportunity. IIC is like one of the one-stop solution for urban farming, which is the coming future. And many students learning, which she shared, like don't sit on your idea and discuss with people, with your mentor, which will help a lot. The students should do a thorough research first before getting into market, so that they can understand the customer journey and their feedback. One of the most important point Priyanka mentioned, like don't fall in love with your idea, because it's always a progressive and depend upon the customer centricity. So always have a critical feedback and don't try to get the goody feedback, which will not get you the exact prototype or exact market. So these are very much and crucial learnings for students. And I really thanks to Priyanka ma'am, for sharing all these things. Thank you so much, Priyanka ma'am. I would like to thanks to all the IIC team members, Garima ma'am, Vaishali Patil ma'am, and Amay Vengankar, who is also a part of Innovi team. All the students who are listening to this and the faculty colleagues who are supporting this IIC sessions and entrepreneurship mood throughout the student's career. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Priyanka.
One more thing, you are even lucky to have these kind of sessions. Earlier, we
Yes.
wouldn't have, our entrepreneurs to talk to us about it.
Yes.
That's another one good. It's lovely to know that you're having sessions like these, so that the students can actually interact with the entrepreneur directly.
And Priyanka,
Yes.
you not believe 50% of the sessions are from the alumni, because they can just students can look at the school alumni and they can say that, chalo, I can also start and the similar business and can be a part of a speaker at Wellinger on a Wellinger Dias.
Definitely they can, ma'am. And they can do much more than all the alumni. Trust me. The students these days, they have way more capability.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Priyanka.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, team.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Priyanka,
much.
for your delightful, inspiring, and motivating talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.